welcome to INCAP, our International Cultural Arts program, where we learn about different cultures, holidays, and people through the most influential, creative, and iconic individuals in their industry. Today we are meeting with the fabulous Miss Pickle, and from Storytime to drag shows and everything in between, this queen has gone everywhere. She created her new show called Quiz Queen, which I'm super excited to talk to her about today. She has even been in several TV shows and films, and so without further ado, here's Miss Pickle. How are you today?
Hello, thank you for having me today, Amber. Excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you on. So, first things first, why did you choose your name Pickle?
I get that question more than any other question, and I really wish I had a more interesting answer, but I just thought of it last minute. I was like, okay, well, what do I want right now? And I was like, well, I want a pickle. Who doesn't want a pickle? It's like tasty little snack. And I knew that people would talk about, I would always come up when people were at fast food restaurants.
Nice. That's actually kind of clever, just to be like, pick something so like,
Yeah, whenever people are ordering, hamburgers and people are asking them about pickles, I might come up.
well, I see you all the time. Actually, we went to the Oscar Museum um, for Halloween, and you did a story time at the Halloween event at the Academy of Motion Pictures Museum, and it was so much fun. And actually, one of the hair ladies that was doing Bride of Frankenstein actually ended up doing my hair for one of my film shoots, and it's like so weird. Like that one event has had like so many weird things like put in together.
Yeah, how funny is that? I mean, it all comes together in some weird shape, right?
Yeah.
That was so much fun. It was such a fun event. Yeah, I worked with the Academy Museum to present our Storytime Drag Queen Story Hour programming for that event. And it was like such a great little group and so fun to be at that museum, which has been such an exciting addition to the city.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love that museum, and it's got so many things. I actually talked to somebody yesterday, and he was talking about it, and I'm like, oh, that's really really weird. I like interviewed somebody else, and I was like, that's super weird that you just brought that
Oh, that's so
up.
funny.
So how long have you been a drag queen, or how did you start doing drag?
I started doing drag kind of randomly in like high school. I did musicals and I played a couple roles that had drag moments in them. I was Hysterium in A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, and in the second act, Hysterium does drag, and it's like this big punchline. It was really fun, and like I just like got like a little too into it. Like I looked like you're supposed to be like funny, like it's supposed to be like garish and ugly, but I got really into it. I was like, okay, like my wig needs to look really nice. And I want to have a nice costume, and like, I want my makeup to be pretty. So like it actually like ended up being quite uh like beautiful and really fun, which made it I think even funnier. And like I just really enjoyed that experience. And then in college I did another drag role in a musical called Ruthless, where there's a drag part. And it just really worked for me. I think artists find their mediums that work for me, or work for you. And like as a performer, I just immediately resonated with me. And I feel like really connected to the art form. And like I kind of like, how there's art forms where you just feel like you know what you're doing. I feel that way about drag. It's sort of like, okay, like I get it. Like I get what's happening, and it comes more naturally to me, even though it's so unnatural. But I've been doing it professionally for 8 years now.
So is drag your career, or is it your hobby? Is it like a side career, or
Drag is definitely my main career. I've like I'll do other stuff kind of like on the side, like just like I like to explore. Uh I've done a few like little writing gigs and things like that. I'm a avid reader, and like I went to an interdisciplinary college called Sarah Lawrence, very like liberal artsy. So I'm very like enjoy exploring other things, but definitely drag is like my main thing. And in the pandemic and in the last year, I'd say like, I gave myself kind of permission to think of it as optional. I was like, okay, I could walk away from drag and pursue something else. And so I kind of stepped back from it and I really missed it. And so now I'm back at it with a renewed sense of like, yeah, this is what, at least for now, I feel connected to and feel like is my, raison d'etre, as the French say.
Well, it's amazing that you can make drag your full-time career because I know a lot of people that don't really have that opportunity, and I feel like you're carving your own path. So that's that's great.
Yeah, I've been really lucky and really it takes a lot of and the pandemic was obviously like, tales all the time. The pandemic was really difficult. I did have to like, pick up part-time work, like, hustling. I have major respect for, day jobs and for doing whatever you have to do. Like sometimes that's the reality. Like sometimes I have to pick up like, daytime work to like supplement my income because just stopping what I love is not an option. And sometimes that's, the reality of the situation. And also I really like to like normalize uh, that not everything has to be connected to like money. It's like you can do something successfully and not make money doing it. It's like a lot of people with actors, I feel like that especially happens where it's just like, oh, but do you make all your money acting? And it's like, barely any actors do. So it's like, why would that be the threshold for like success for like that career? So it's like, I'm lucky in that drag is a more, um, it's more entertainment. It's more like, connected to, I wouldn't say connected to finance, but it's easier to monetize drag. So I'm lucky in that respect, but I like to sort of like qualify that like, that I don't think that necessarily indicates professional success, if that makes sense.
What is a favorite performance of yours that you have ever done?
I like so I sing live and I do crowd work and like hosting. Hosting is kind of my main thing. But I sing and I do a couple numbers that I've just been doing for a long time that I'm really fond of. I do Popular from Wicked and it's like part of the shtick is that I like get someone and I like do the scene leading up to it. Like that's one of my favorite things to do is I'll do like a musical theater song, but I'll do it like in its original kind of context. Like I'll wrangle someone into I like sometimes I do another song, whatever Lola wants. I do whatever Pickle wants. It's from Damn Yankees. And
That's great. That's
I
so good.
I have like a printout of the script and I just like give them the scene and I kind of like do it's like one of my favorite things to do because it's almost like a little like mini like class where I'm like, okay, so like I'm gonna teach you how to like, do this character and like, they're like doing the lines and we're like stopping the scene to like give notes and like things like that and then it leads into the
Are they
song.
normally good sports?
Yeah, people are
Oh,
great. People have like a really good sense of humor. It's drag, so it's like one of the wonderful things and one of the things that really attracted to me about drag in the first place is that it's so flexible and it's at that point culturally where it's both new and old. So it's like it's coming into the mainstream. So the potential, it's still in that phase where it's like it's kind of limitless with its potential. It hasn't been established in the mainstream in any kind of way. So it's like you can really do anything. And so, people really respond to it very positively and are very like good sports and like they know that like when they go to a drag show, they might be dragged into it and it's very interactive. That's one of the things like I can't now when I go back to like acting, it can be challenging for me, even acting in drag because so much of the magic of drag is breaking the fourth wall and bringing the audience in that I have to like. It's so impulsive to me. It's so second nature at this point where I'm just like always like commenting on them and bringing them in. So usually people are good sports, and it's almost better when they're not.
yeah, it's fun. When I did local theater shows, sometimes we would do that, and people a lot of times when you like go to a theater show, you don't expect to get dragged into it. And so people are always like so red-faced, like a deer in the headlights. It's very, very funny.
Yeah.
So where do you get all of your costumes? Do you have them made for you? Do you get them from like different thrift stores or like what do you do?
A little bit of everything. I've had a lot of things made for me. It's definitely easier, but it's definitely more expensive. I thrift shop, so I'll like find. I love to style, so I'll find pieces. I'll alter pieces. Like what I'm wearing now is used to be like an oversized denim jacket that I cut up and so changed and like altered. I don't want to stand because I'm like not wearing tights, but like I'll make skirts and like yeah, I'm slowly learning how to make things better. And like this year I really challenged myself to like, okay, I want to start making my own costumes more and like doing more of that. So I do know how to like fabricate looks. It's just a matter of time, really. So it's like I've got a lot of looks that I've had made, but it depends. It depends on the vibe. It depends on like if I'm capable of making it, I want to make it. But if I'm not, then I don't want to keep myself from executing the look. So it's just a little bit of everything.
How many wigs do you have? And bonus question, what is your heaviest wig?
Oh gosh, good question. My heaviest wig is definitely this sort of like powdered wig I have. That's like this high. That's like this like kind of Marie Antoinette vibe. It's like I don't know how much it weighs, but it's like kind of painful to have on my head. Also because I put like crowns on it. So
Oh,
it
so
weighs.
it's like even added and added and added
Yeah, it's
weight.
like crushing. Wigs can like what people don't know, I think, is that when you tighten them, they like I don't know if you ever watched Real Housewives of Atlanta, but like
No.
Nene Leakes was always making fun of Kim Novak because she's like, oh, the wig is pulling on her brain, and that's like so real. Like it like pinches your head, so it, like can give you a headache after a while. But I'm not a clutterer. I like to like I throw a lot of things away, or like I give a lot of things away. I like to clean house a lot. So at any time, I'll usually have like 6 or 7 good wigs that like I get styled and kind of keep in rotation. I don't like to collect things. I don't collect costumes. I don't keep a lot of them. I like to like have kind of like a few looks and cycle through them. But I'm not a big hoarder. A lot of queens are like hoarders. Like they've got like so many, but I just like I don't like to have it all. If I had a bigger place, maybe I would have more. But usually I have like 6 or 7 really good high quality wigs. And then I'll just alternate getting them styled.
Why I asked about the heaviness is I did a shoot back in December where I had to wear a wig and it was a 16-hour shoot with a 26-pound wig and I
Oh
felt
my
like my neck
God.
was going to break.
You're just like, I
I
know it's
was
crazy the things that people do, like as performers, just these weird things where they're like, okay, you're gonna wear this like, giant piece of metal on your head for like 20 hours. Like that is so like in no other setting would anyone be expected to like work like under those conditions.
Yeah, I took like it took like a day or two to recover like my neck because it was like so sore. Anyway, let's keep on going. So how do you prepare for a performance of yours?
Ooh, good question. Performance prep. Obviously, like I get into drag, it takes me an hour from start to finish. I give myself an hour, which has taken a long time for it to be that quick. It's like taking a lot of practice, but it's like I can't be spending like 6 hours every time I get into drag, or I would have no life. But for preparation, I sing live, so I like to take. I haven't taken singing lessons in a little bit, but I like to rehearse my songs every day. I usually like run through, at least one song so that I'm staying on top of it vocally. It's really challenging. So much of like singing, I don't know, so much of singing is complicated by the circumstances that you're singing in. It's like the acoustics and the technology and like so many like there's so many things that you don't think about when you're practicing. So I try to like practice as much as I can because like those factors, like if I'm not taking care of my voice and I'm not exercising myself, which I don't always do, like, and then I really feel it because I'm like, oh my God, I'm having to like scream because I just like am not practicing. So I like to rehearse. I like to, um, when I'm walking around, I kind of keep it in the back of my mind. I'm kind of always like rehearsing a little bit in my mind. But yeah, and then I practice. I'm a big interdisciplinary person, so I take French classes and I take sketch comedy classes, and like all of that informs my performances. Like, I'm not a dancer, but I take dance classes, and like it I may not be incorporating a lot of choreography into my performances, but the sensibility and the sense of movement is really important. I take Alexander technique. I implement all these different tools uh, in my performances. Like French, I'm trying to get to a point where I can kind of like integrate more and more French into. I think it's really funny to just start talking in French, and it like weirds people out. But I so like there's all sorts of little things that I take from my daily life that I can implement in my work.
That's great. I actually take French too, so yeah.
Uh,
Um, so your makeup is always on point. So how did you get into makeup, or like did you take any lessons or just YouTube videos or
No, YouTube, I cannot learn from YouTube. I don't know what it is. It's one of my
really?
major character defects is that I cannot learn from YouTube. It is so hard for me to like learn that way. I started like really sloppy, just making it up, and then I met a friend who was a makeup artist who was like, "Girl, you need to fix this." She was like, "Let me help you." So she did my face a couple times, and then I was like, "Can you teach me?" So I was like sitting in the mirror, and like, she was like, "Okay, now do this," and I would do that, and then like, she kind of talked me through it, and then just implementing those tools slowly over time just feel like I got better. And I think in drag, you really kind of find your face and like find what works for you. I do a very natural kind of like, I don't paste down my whole eyebrow. I don't like do like really exaggerated features. I kind of stick to like softer kind of tones and things. So like, you know, I'll like ask makeup artists like for tips and stuff and do all that and observe. But I'm not in the like, a lot of drag queens do like really big like makeup and like different strokes for different folks. But I've found that I really enjoy like just like little dee. I just want to be like a pretty girl.
Well, luckily you don't need a lot of makeup because you're naturally very beautiful. So, um,
You too.
so you started your own game show called Quiz Queen.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, sort of. I filmed a pilot for a game show that then we were shopping around for a little while, and then like it just wasn't like getting any traction. I was like, oh, we put so much work. Oh, I'm dropping things. I was like, we put so much work into it, like I'll just put it on YouTube. So I don't have any plans to like make another one, but another episode. But I thought it would be fun to share just because so many people like, contributed to it, and it like had a lot of moving parts.
Well, what was your inspiration behind it? Like, yeah, what was your inspiration?
Gosh, I love trivia and I love like information and I love audience interaction. I love like, quizzing people. And so like I wanted to and I love old school game shows. I love like there's this game show that Groucho Marx used to do called You Bet Your Life. It's really, really funny. Where you just
Jay
kind of like,
Leno is doing a You Bet Your Life right now.
who?
Jay Leno?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Great. Totally. So Jay Leno
Yeah.
stole my idea. I'm gonna sue him. No. So it's and like in the spirit of that, like I love like picking on people kind of and like teasing them. And so I thought it'd be really fun uh to explore that. And I think moving forward, like if I were to move forward with the game show, I would like flesh out those elements that I really like about it. Like I liked like, interacting with the people. So I would do that more and like incorporate more of that spirit. make it even sillier, but it was a lot of fun to do, and I just wanted to like make something, you know. It was like kind of you throw things against the wall and just whatever sticks.
So you have a lot of musical theater knowledge, especially with Wicked, as you said you do, popular from Wicked. Would you ever want to be in a Broadway musical? Is that something you would ever want to do?
Oh gosh, are you offering me a part? She's all like, because I've got a
I have
contract
no pull. I have
here.
no pull on the casting.
It's a
I already
6 month
have that.
run. You'll be playing Madame Morrible. um, uh, yeah, totally. That is definitely on my bucket list. I would love, love, love to do a Broadway show or to do more theater just generally. You know, right now I'm really into drag and but I think that that's one of the wonderful things about drag is that it can really turn into anything. And I would love to play the MC in Cabaret. I would love to play Lola and Damn Yankees, but they're not going to do Damn Yankees again because it's so boring. Everything else about it is so boring, but except for that one part. But yeah, I would love that. I would like I love Shakespeare. I do a youth program called Shakespeare where I teach teenagers in libraries how to like read and recite, not like perform necessarily, but recite Shakespeare and tap into the language. So I would love to do more Shakespeare and like integrate that into my act as well. So totally. The answer is yes, I'm available. So if you're watching this and you're casting Wicked, I am available to play Glinda or the Wizard. I'm trying to be realistic about like what parts.
Hey,
But
and if
I
the
could
Wicked
play
movie
like
needs an
one of the
extra flying monkey.
yeah, I could be yeah. Amber will be one of the flying monkeys. I'll be one of the big bobbleheads that comes out. We can do it. We got it. We got you.
Perfect. Okay, Chelsea Company. Okay. So, how do you celebrate Pride Month, and how can we, as the audience, celebrate Pride Month?
Ooh, well, I work a lot during Pride. So I kind of celebrate it by just not stopping, by working. But I like to reflect on, you know, my privilege and how lucky I am to be able to be who I am, that I live somewhere that's very accepting, that I have the opportunity to share programming with young people like Drag Queen Story Hour that celebrates queerness. I like to celebrate how far we have come, even though there's a long, long way to go. You know, the landscape does look different. I think that even though it's horrifying that there's anti-LGBTQ plus legislation being introduced in the government, it's like it's weird to put a positive spin on it, but you know, we live in a world where they would have to do that, you know, which means that we're visible, you know, in a way that we weren't before. You know, you can look at the necessity for that kind of evil legislation as an indication that our society is moving forward because it's like before it was just universally like yeah we're just going to beat them up and like you know discriminate against them. Now they're really having to like they would have to legitimize their hatred into law, which is terrifying to behold. And I'm not trying to say that like this isn't bad, but you know, the flip side of it is that we live in a world that you know where people are insisting on existing even in those areas where previously you couldn't be queer and live in Texas, but now people are insisting that like yeah we're queer and we're here in Texas and like you know so I applaud those people that are fighting the good fight. And I think that, you know, the audience, you, if you're watching, if you are queer, congratulations. That's great and celebrate however you deem fit. And I think that, you know, one of the most powerful things you can do as allies is, you know, affirm and listen and be present and remember that like being queer isn't a negative, you know, and it's not something that you need to feel sorry for people or like patronize people. It's like it's just a reality. It's just a fact, and you know, it's something, and that we don't like. I like to say like I'm not looking for anyone's acceptance. Like I don't require anyone's acceptance. Like there's no like, oh, like I get your acceptance, therefore I'm permitted to exist. It's like it's not required. But so like, join the winning team of like love and joy and celebration,
I had a very um, inclusive childhood. I both of my siblings were in Broadway productions, and so I really lived in a world where everybody was accepted, no matter what sexuality, race, gender you were, and I think that's why I am such an open ally. Spe- um, because even though I'm not in the community, I still really like to help other people and spread the word and create a world of acceptance. And so um, that's one thing that I loved moving here is like one of the first things that we did when we moved here, I like looked at the library because I too am an avid reader, and I saw that you were doing story time as a drag queen, and I was like, that is the coolest thing because like in some places like nobody has that except for LA, and I like really hope that we can like branch that out to other like places because and I don't know, like including everybody is just so important to me, and so yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, to clarify, there are branches of Drag Queen Story Hour in many different cities. But like, they have it in New York, they have it, and one of the reasons all this legislation is happening in Texas is because they're doing it down there, which the Texans are like, no! But yeah, I think that that's so wonderful, and part of the work as an ally is doing things like this, like including queer voices and asking questions and staying curious and remembering that like you know curiosity is one of the greatest gifts that we can give ourselves. Being curious about other people, I firmly believe that everyone has a story and that everyone's story deserves to be told. So it's like, the more I can stay curious about other people and non-judgmental about their lifestyle and who they are, the more enriched I will be.
So while coming up with questions, I did watch a couple of your YouTube videos, and I came up with this question because heard a little bit of your story about the Kelly Osbourne experience, and I just wanted to ask
When
you.
did I talk? See, this is what happens is I do these videos and like I just like forget that they're gonna go and like it all feels I think one of the reasons I'm great on in YouTube videos and stuff is because I don't think about the future. And like but then I like there's all these videos and someone's like, oh my god, I watched that video of you doing this, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I totally forgot about that. Wait, what video was this?
It was weirdest drag experience,
Oh yeah, and I made that video. Uh
yeah.
so yeah, what about the Kelly Osbourne when I did her birthday party?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you what was the coolest drag experience because you said that was one of the weirdest. But do you like have a how can you have a cooler experience than
It
that?
was weird and cool. It was one of those things. It was like, what a strange, it fell in my lap in such a weird way, like through a Facebook post. Someone was like, is anyone a Kelly? I need a Kelly Osbourne impersonator. And I was like, that doesn't exist. That's not like a thing that anyone does permanently. But so like someone was like tagged me in it. It was like, you kind of look like Kelly Osbourne. And I was like, yeah, I could do it. And they're like, okay, you're gonna do it. And I didn't know it was for her actual birthday. And it was a surprise. Like, so she didn't know, and it was like all so weird. And like, I got into like Kelly Osbourne drag and like went to this place, and like the paparazzi took photos of me. And I like went into this restaurant. They kept me in like the dry storage, and then like I came out and did my thing, and like everyone, like Ozzy Osbourne was there, and like Sharon Osbourne. They were all like, "Whoa, what's happening?" And then they like shepherded me out. They were like, "Okay, now get out." It was so weird and so fun, and I guess some of my other some of the coolest things. I think that Story Hour is definitely one of the coolest things I've gotten to do. Also, the organizations that I get to partner with Story Hour. I've gotten to partner with organizations that I have loved for years and years, like the Music Center. I've gotten to meet like really just cool people doing cool things, and I've gotten to perform at LACMA and the Academy Museum, and we've gotten to go to the OC Fair and like all sorts of like weird like places and fun things and uh I did perform. I got to sing a Kesha song for Kesha, which was really cool, but that was so random. She just randomly ended up. It was a really weird, like supernatural experience because I like threw a party that was like a Kesha party because I love Kesha for some reason. And so I threw a Kesha night. And then 2 weeks later, I was doing bingo at this bar in Hollywood. And it was like a really slow, it just wasn't a very popular event or whatever. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go perform at this bar in Highland Park after, where my friends throw this drag show that's like really wild and fun. And I was like, I'm going to go. And I really didn't want to go. I was like, oh, why did I say I was going to do it? I'm so tired. So then I left my bingo and went to the show. And I was backstage, like, and I was gonna sing this Kesha song, and someone was like, Kesha's here. And I was like, no, she's not. What are you talking about? I went out, and sure enough, she was just standing there, like with her friends. And so we all like, I invited some of the other people on stage, and we all did this song, sang this song for her, and like it was really fun and emotional. We were crying, and like it was like so magical. And what was really weird is that they initially were gonna go to the bingo night that I had been doing, her and her friends. And then it was over by the time they got to the bar, so they left and came to this other show. Isn't that weird?
Wow, it was like meant to be. Like you were meant to meet Kesha.
Like the universe was like, well, you're gonna meet her somehow. And like it was just so, the timing was so weird that she was like, they were like, yeah, we were gonna go to this bingo night at the Sassafras. And I was like, that was me. Why didn't you come 2 hours earlier? Do you not have Google? So bizarre.
I don't want to keep you long because I know that you have somewhere to be right after this. So I just have a few more questions. So let's do these like rapid fire. Okay,
Yeah.
so who is an actor that inspires you?
Ooh, Christoph Waltz.
Do you have a mentor, or can you tell us how your representatives, directors, fellow actors have helped you along your journey?
I have so many mentors, so many teachers. One of my mentors is my Alexander Technique teacher. He like has really like affected the way I look at making art and stuff. So like I would say I take on a lot of mentors, absorb as much as I can.
When you're not on stage or preparing or doing story time, what are some things that you like to do, or what are some of your hobbies?
And I love to take French. I love to practice and speak French as much as I can. I love to read. I like to volunteer. I volunteer at this scholarship organization called Posse Foundation. It's awesome. I love to exercise and hike and take dance classes and run around. I like to shop, all sorts of things. I like to keep busy, for sure.
If you weren't a performer, or if art in some very bland world wasn't a thing, what would you want to do?
I would probably be a lawyer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, or in like an English, or a writer, or an English, or an editor, a magazine editor. That sounds fabulous.
Yeah, that does sound fun.
I would love to be a creative, like a magazine editor, like a creative director.
Yeah, that sounds fun, kind of like 13 going on 30. Um, so, how do you think that we, as the audience, can make the world a better place?
I always try to remind myself that like it all starts inside me, and that like making myself a better person is one of the best things that I can do. So like remembering that like all the unlearning that I have to do, all the learning that I have to do, it's like, you can't impart something that you don't have. So it's like, any principles that I want to see out in the world, I have to affect in myself and embody in my own life. I think that sometimes we forget that. So I think remembering that and then building off of that is how I like kind of I'm not like an expert, like super Samaritan or anything, but like taking the manageable steps to make long lasting, effective change around me and not getting overwhelmed by like the weight of the world.
That's great. If you had one piece of advice that you would give to an aspiring performer, what would it be?
Quit. No. Uh, it's tales all this time. Like I really believe, I tell my actor friends this, I tell my like fellow drag queen friends this, anyone who's in entertainment, it's 90% perseverance. It's like, the only way you can do art wrong is stop. Like, the only way you can fail as an artist, not fail, but like, not to say that you fail if you stop, but like the only wrong thing to do, from my way of thinking, is to stop doing it. Like persist. Like, you just don't know. Like, you might be someone who is going to come into their artistic prime when you're in your 80s. Like, if you stop, how will you avail yourself to that opportunity?
Perseverance is the key. If people want to follow you or learn more about your career, how would they do so?
They would mind their own business. No, you can follow me at Pickle Drag Queen on Instagram. My website is pickledragqueen.com. And those are the two best ways to find me and stay connected.
Well, thank you so much, Pickle, for doing this interview. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you. Such a pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's so awesome.
And thank you all for watching. Now remember that June is Pride Month, and all month we are raising money for the Trevor Project. So if you do find it in your heart to donate, please visit www.performerswithpurposefoundation.com. Every penny really, truly does count. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye.